What if I told you that there's more to Huggy Wuggy's story than we've been led to believe? After coming across some tightly guarded evidence, I might have figured out exactly what happened to him. If this turns out to be true, then there will be no hope for anyone, humans and toys alike. Huggy Wuggy is not dead, and I have evidence to support it. While we got to witness Mommy Longlegs and Catnap's demise, Huggy's was the only one that happened off screen. But why would Mob Entertainment have Huggy go out in this manner? We know a lot about Huggy's character, and he knows us just as well. Thanks to his toy body, he is multiple times faster and more nimble than when he was an orphan. He's able to take down grown adults, and he's got the most tenacity we've seen from any toy. The VHS tape regarding Huggy's escape in 1992 does a great job at showcasing this. 5 playtime guards were confirmed to be killed, with another 6 going missing. Huggy was also shot once with a tranquilizer dart and still managed to keep this up for 4 hours. We could argue based on these feats that his durability is up there when compared to the other toys. Not to mention his impressive intelligence when he finds himself in survival mode. The head of innovation, Leith Pierre, even remarks in a report that he can't believe this happened. The report reads, "How 1170 was able to access the ventilation system without security's realization is beyond me. It is only blind luck that we found him before somebody else did, and it cost us lives. The innovation department is not happy. I am not happy." Huggy Wuggy was able to outsmart trained professionals and showed everyone that he can't be contained. We as the player get to unfortunately experience the same ventilation tactics for ourselves. And the biggest takeaway we learn from it is that Huggy Wuggy won't stop coming for us. Falling from the height he did in Chapter 1 is nothing but a scratch compared to everything he's been through. At the very most, it's quite possible that the fall did cost him some broken limbs. Nonetheless, the idea that he survived isn't unreasonable. This possibility is also supported by the fact that we can see traces of blood and blue fur in Chapter 2. It's located on the walls of the Bonzo Bunny production room. Fun fact, this room is located at the bottom of the catwalk where he falls from. This means he might have survived and tried to climb up. And if it turns out that Huggy did survive, there's 2 main outcomes that are going to happen. Huggy comes back with a deeper vengeance, or he comes back but this time as an ally. It's surprising, I know, but based on secret evidence, it could be the case. First, why is it possible for Huggy Wuggy to become a good guy in the next chapter? He hits his head on the pipes many times during his descent. He doesn't just hit his head once, twice, or thrice, but maybe even more than that. By the time he gets back up, there should be something wrong with his brain. Huggy Wuggy might have hit his head so hard that he forgets his true self. Now, it's not known whether he's inherently a bad guy or is just controlled by the prototype. We only know that he's out to kill us, but this might not be the case anymore. Either way, it's possible that the fall leads him to be reborn, so he won't be the bloodthirsty Huggy we know. If that's not the case, then it's likely he loses his iconic sharp teeth during this moment. His teeth are arguably the scariest and most dangerous part about him. Without his teeth, he won't do anything that can hurt us. So in a sense, we might be able to subdue him or force him to be on our side. The second possibility is that the opposite happens and Huggy becomes more evil. This is still tied to the fact that his head gets messed up during his fall. Instead of turning out to be a good toy, he just gets more deranged and murderous. He might come to chase us down again in an even more intense situation. Both theories I mentioned before can also become true at the same time. Poppy Playtime CEO posted a message on Discord that's now been erased from the internet. In this post, he compares Huggy Wuggy to Darth Vader and the prototype to Palpatine. This is an obvious reference to the true fate of Huggy Wuggy, and it's no wonder it was deleted instantly. I'll explain this to you briefly in case you haven't watched Star Wars. In the series, a guy named Anakin was presumed dead after he was badly injured. However, it turns out that someone called Palpatine saved him and turned him into a completely different person, Darth Vader. Darth Vader spent most of his life being a villain until he finally, in the end, redeemed himself. If this is what the CEO means, it's very likely that in the next chapter, we'll see Huggy in his new form created by the prototype. You can bet that he'll be modified with either robot-like parts or maybe even dead toys. If we take this even further, maybe Kissy Missy was captured at the end of Chapter 3, so her new body can be used to repair Huggy's. Huggy would look extremely terrifying with pink arms that we know were ripped off of Kissy Missy. This theory makes sense since we know that the prototype would only benefit from repairing him. Huggy was dead set on making sure he killed the player, and the prototype would like to use that to his advantage. If he has to sacrifice a passive toy like Kissy to do it, then Kissy Missy is as good as dead. But we shouldn't forget that Darth Vader turned on Palpatine in the end to protect the good guys. So even though we may face Huggy's grotesque form later, there's still a chance that he will end up being good. Huggy might be faced with a choice where he can either end the player or the prototype. He might be conflicted in these final moments and realize he can finally do the right thing. Huggy was only a child before all this began, and it's never too late to make the right decision. But what if Huggy Wuggy is indeed dead? If he's actually dead, a possible outcome is his body was retrieved by the prototype, similar to Mommy Longlegs. The prototype probably did what he does best and simply merged with Huggy's dead body. The biggest supporting evidence that Huggy might actually be dead comes straight from the words of Poppy. Actually, Poppy knows that we killed Huggy. Yes, she uses the word killed, but wait a minute. Poppy wasn't present when the event took place. In fact, she was still trapped inside the glass cage. That means someone else who witnessed it must have informed her. I wonder who that could be. All signs point towards it being Ollie. Up until now, Ollie's existence is still a mystery to us, but one thing is clear. He knows where you are, and he is always watching. Poppy says, "We've all seen how capable you are," to the player. The fact that she uses the word "we've all" hints that there could be more people watching us. At least one of our companions have been watching you, and that person is most likely to be Ollie. There's another weird thing about Huggy Wuggy that you may have noticed. As we all know, Kissy Missy is portrayed as being Huggy's lover. It's shown on the website for the digital collectibles, but upon hearing that we killed her significant other from Poppy, she doesn't show any reaction. Not anger, not sadness, nothing. Is this because she didn't have a good relationship with Huggy? Did something happen to them in the past that caused them to hate each other? Well, Kissy is already passive in the first place. She has never shown us any real emotion, and she just smiles all the time, very similar to Huggy. Maybe she knows something about Huggy that neither we or Poppy are aware of. Maybe the Huggy we know is not the same Huggy she knows. Kissy Missy is definitely keeping a secret from everybody, and it might be regarding the true fate of Huggy. But we'll just have to wait and see. What do you think happened to Huggy Wuggy? Is he still alive and being repaired by the prototype, or is he gone for good?